Hi, everybody. It's Water Polo Wednesday with Wes and Clay. He's Wes.
Yeah. And he's Clay.
Yeah. Look at Wes wearing an LMU shirt. Isn't this fun? Man, here we go. We got love for the
Why I bought
alumni.
this shirt?
Why'd you buy this shirt? Mind you, keyword here, he bought it. He wasn't given this. He bought it and is repping it.
This was not given to me. I bought it 10, 12 years ago. I was teaching at LMU and it was so hot in this old building.
By the way,
in
Wesley
St. Rob.
Kading, adjunct professor at Loyola Marymount University.
I was. Yeah, you can Google me. And it was so hot, I sweated through my shirt that I'd brought. So I had to run to the bookstore at the break in between I was teaching 8 hours at a time. And with 2 4-hour classes or something, maybe 6 hours, 2 3-hour classes. And once a week, one of those once a week courses. And I was this was the only thing they had. So I wear it now. So I got it. You didn't even know that.
I loved it. I like the details, Wes, and so do the people, right? People. All right. Moving on. Welcome to Water Polo Wednesday. Hope you're following us. Do like and subscribe on YouTube. Sometimes we might post it on Spotify. We never know if we're going to do that or not. There's options to become a member. Feel free to look into that as well. I think it gets more in depth as we get into season here. I think more so on the men's side of things, but we do have some women's games to discuss here, and things are starting to take shape a little bit for the men's National League finals. So maybe we start with the women's piece, Wes.
Yeah, we're happy to start with the women's piece. I think that's very exciting. So a couple of big games coming up. First off, USC beat Cal this last weekend, and UCLA beat Arizona State. So Coach Party and her team unable to climb that mountain, get over the hill. Against USC. So USC, a couple of big wins. USC is on a streak right now, beating Stanford and Cal. UCLA has beaten Arizona State. And I don't know how the rankings could possibly work where you have one team ahead of another team. UCLA has yet to beat Stanford, but has beaten USC a couple of times. USC has yet to beat UCLA, but has now beaten Stanford. And Stanford has beaten UCLA, but lost to USC. So I don't really know how this is going to shake out. It's exciting at the top. You like to see at least 3 teams. I personally would prefer 5 to 6 teams, but we get what we get, and that's where we're at. We will not see a Hawaii versus Arizona State game this year unless they make the NC2As. Now, what I will tell you is this. Hawaii has a big hill to climb coming up. They've got to win their conference, the Big West Conference, and as it shakes out, they're going to end up being the 1 seed in their conference, which is rightfully earned. They got a game against Fullerton, but they'll roll versus Fullerton here in the next week. They also get to play the Australian national team on Thursday. Long Beach will be the 2 seed in that conference, in the Big West Conference. Davis the 3, UCI the 4, California State University Northridge the 5, San Diego the 6, Fullerton the 7, and Santa Barbara the 8. So Hawaii has everything. They're ranked 6 in the nation. They have everything going for them. We've got a great interview with Aggie Weston, which I personally enjoyed. I loved meeting her up at Cal. I have to tell you guys, I don't want to spoil the interview, but really special individual. And watching her play, if you have never had the chance to watch Aggie Weston play, make a point of it. And I'm not saying like on overnight. If you can get out to watch this woman play in person, she is so talented and so long. She does things that like none of us can really fathom because of her length and skill. And it's just so unique to watch her, right? You see some people that are just really athletic that may not be as long, but she's so long and athletic. It's really special. It's kind of like LeBron James being able to dribble like a point guard, but he's almost like 7 feet tall. He's like 6'8", 6'9", or whatever he is. Yeah. Like that's kind of what this is. Like she's so talented for somebody who could have been a defender, probably could have played center, plays the perimeter. Amazing woman to watch, incredibly talented woman. So a lot of flowers for her, and she'll be on the show in a little bit. So Hawaii leads the Big West. The MPSF not yet decided because USC did beat Stanford. So I don't think they're the 1 seed anymore in the MPSF, but USC gets UCLA in a crosstown rivalry game on Saturday. Cal plays Stanford at Stanford, which I will be on that game on Saturday as well. So it's Easter weekend, but the games will be done before Easter. So April 4th, you have USC, UCLA, which will be a big one, and then Cal, Stanford. So both crosstown rivalries, if you will. Battle, I guess, Big Splash and I don't know what they Battle of LA or whatever they call it down there. And so that'll be really exciting. Around the country, you've got Princeton, University of Michigan tied at the top at 5-1 apiece, followed by Harvard, Brown, Bucknell, Mercyhurst, and St. Francis. Those seedings not yet determined. There are a couple of games this weekend. I need to look because I keep getting confused on who's playing who in these different conferences because I feel like it's all over the place. Anyway, so Harvard will be taking on Brown. That they should win that game, and they'll finish 5-1 in conference. I believe Princeton. I don't think any of them match up, right? So it's going to go to head, and we'll see. Kind of, I don't know the tiebreakers there, Clay. So hard to discuss the tiebreakers. But you'll have three teams really with kind of a 5-1 record, is my guess. It looks like Princeton plays Wagner and Marist, which they could drop a game to one of those teams if they're not careful. But I see them kind of finishing up there and going forward. They did beat Michigan, so they will be ranked ahead of Michigan in their last conference game. And I don't know, it looks like they lost to Harvard. So as long as Harvard beats Brown, Harvard should be the 1 seed and Michigan the 3 seed and Princeton the 2 seed. So we'll see how all that shakes out. We'll be able to cover that hopefully after the Easter holiday. And that'll be fun. So there you go.
Great. All right. So to recap, what's most immediate coming up for the women's side for everyone to keep an eye on?
Well, you got conference. I mean, this weekend there's a couple of games that are going to decide the conference. And as I look at this now, funny enough, Michigan beats Harvard, Harvard beats Princeton beats Michigan. So another conference that has 3 teams at the top that are just beating each other up, right? So it's going to be interesting, but I think you've got a couple good matchups this weekend in the MPSF conference. Nothing really else that's going to happen other than those two. I think those are the big games you want to watch this weekend. In 2 weeks from now, so April 10th, 11th, and 12th, you'll have the MPSF tournament. You have every tournament. MPSF will be at Cal, and then you've got the CWPA tournament. That'll be at Ann Arbor, Michigan, which go blue. Gotta love Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've swam in that pool. I've gotten to play water polo in the Canham Natatorium, a famed pool. Hathaway's name is still up on their swimming or water polo, whatever it is, Hall of Fame. So it's always fun for us to go back. It brings a lot of joy to my heart to talk about that. Unbelievable. Oh my God, it's been a long time. I digress. So those are the big tournaments.
We're on memory lane on this episode.
I know.
Aren't we?
I'm sorry. You got the WCC conference as well. They'll have a few games this weekend. I'm sorry. I believe it's the GCC on the women's side, right? Water polo standings. Apologies. I had them all up and then I closed out the wrong box here. Okay, here we go. So San Diego State taking on Azusa Pacific. Pacific and CBU playing each other this looks like next weekend. GCC championships will actually start Saturday, April 11th. Santa Clara, their game is they've canceled their season, unfortunately. And so they're finished. Loyola taking on Long Beach. That actually should be a pretty good game Friday, April 3rd. Long Beach, the 8th seed. Loyola is number 1 in the GCC right now, excuse me. And that's a big deal, right? Because it gives them a good setup. They're the 1 seed, Fresno State, the 2 seed. And CBU will play Pacific, looks like Friday, April 10th. San Diego will take on Azusa Pacific Friday, April 10th. And then winner of CBU Pacific will take on LMU in their semifinal. Winner of San Diego State and Azusa Pacific will take on Fresno State in their semifinal. So that's how the GCC shakes up. Nobody ranked in the top, 15 in this conference. It's a little odd to me because this has been a good conference. LMU pushed UCLA last year to get in their first NC2A match, in their matchup in the NC2A finals. And I mean, there was a chance for them to win that game. And I'm surprised, frankly, that they're not getting a little more love. So
it's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose.
It's the way the cookie crumbles indeed, Clayton. So it'll be very exciting. Loyola 5 goals against UCLA's 9. That's a pretty low scoring game this last weekend. USC 14, Cal 10. So look, a lot of good matchups. Right now there's 3 at the top. We thought there was only 2 at the top. We thought it was UCLA and Stanford, but there are 3 at the top.
And I will say, like, looking at the Arizona State UCLA game, that wasn't a blowout by any means. Looking at the box score, UCLA jumped out ahead of them 2 goals in the first. But then Arizona State was pretty even with them for the rest of the game. They're outscored 2-1, I think, in the third quarter. So, like, they're right there. They're just a little bit of a lapse in the opening gate.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't finish super strong. And I think we're going to share something else during the men's segment. But when you start looking at the data data. We're big on data here.
Data.
Special thanks to Bluebird Data, a little shout out. But when you start looking at the data, the style of play that some of these teams are playing doesn't lend to there's not equal talent on every team. So you can't take the same approach that every single team is, like the teams ahead of you oftentimes are taking.
Yeah, you can't say this team's doing really well, so we should just imitate what they're doing tactically. But you need the right personnel to run those tactics.
That's right. And very few teams have that personnel. Furthermore, I'm not even sure that those tactics are the best tactics. They're just the tactics that work. Maybe they're the tactics that work. Maybe they're the players that win. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? When you've got 7 Olympians on your team, is it the tactics? Is it the players? Maybe a little both. But when Tom Brady left the Patriots, he still won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, and Belichick got fired after not winning anything after Tom Brady. So you wonder how much of it is tactics and how much of it is players. Now, what I'll say is this. I don't like watching teams 5 through 10 mirror teams 1 through 4 because they're trying to do the same thing those teams are doing. You're not going to beat them at their game. It's very hard to do. There's not one way to play this game either, to say, well, the way they're doing it is the way it has to be done. That's not true. And when I watched Hawaii play Cal, Greg asked me this question: can Hawaii keep doing what they're doing and win? And the answer is no. You're not going to beat Cal playing the same style as Cal, because the way Cal is playing suits who they have. The most effective, highest percentage of scoring is what, Clayton? Do you have any idea?
This is a very broad question you're asking me. What are we talking about?
Situationally, what is the most efficient way to score goals? Any idea?
Well, a one on nobody.
That's
probably
right.
The highest probability. Yeah,
that's right. A counterattack. So if you're losing because you're playing this front court 6v6 and trying to draw an exclusion, which 6-on-5 is the second most efficient way to score a goal, but that's not working for you because you're not getting enough exclusions or maybe you're not converting, you need to be able to press the lanes and counter hard. And if you're not in shape to do that, that's a tough one. But if you never employ that tactic, you're going to continue to lose this game of attrition where they go up, you go up a little. They go up, you go up a little bit, maybe you drop a little. They go up, you go up a little. Maybe they come back, you go up. But like, you're always going to have this distance that continues to separate because you're trying to do the same things they're doing with players who maybe aren't as good at doing that. So that's what's very interesting to me. I'm excited about any kind of shift or change, similar to what we see with Fordham, how they play a very fast attacking style. They don't work for late in the clock entries. They go quick on the entry. They go quick on the 6-on-5, which, by the way, going quick on the 6-on-5, far more effective than setting up your 6-on-5, like far more effective. And we have the data to show this. It's like kind of fun as we've gone through this. So just like as I look at
that, everyone don't be patient on 6-on-5 anymore. That's what we're trying to broadcast out there.
It's not what we're saying. You're just higher percentage when the defense isn't set.
All right.
Right. So there's a lot of interesting things. I'm excited to see, and LMU did this last year at the NC2As. They pushed the counter hard, and it really hurt UCLA because they weren't prepared for it. Now, UCLA is a different team this year. LMU is a different team this year. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I'm excited for the women's NC2A tournament. I believe if Hawaii can win their Big West tournament, they can knock off whoever they get. They're probably going to be the 5 seed would be my guess, because I don't think 5 seeds go 5. I think 1 through 4 is usually like MPSF. So whoever gets the 4, which will probably be Cal, because they haven't beaten UCLA, USC, or Stanford, will have to take on Hawaii for now the 4th time this year. I think Hawaii can beat them if they play well enough. The tough, it's at San Diego, so neutral site. And if Hawaii can get out of this rhythm of we're going to beat Cal at their game, I don't see it working out that way. They'd have to adjust. But they are a team that's good enough to surprise a Cal, especially in one game. So that's exciting to me. Conference tournaments are exciting. We've talked about it before. MPSF getting all these automatic bids. Nobody's going to taper. It gives them a huge advantage over the Big West, the WCC, the GCC, and the CWPA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why there's a GCC for women and a WCC for men. It probably has something to do with basketball.
Maybe
it has to. It's. I don't understand it.
And Pepperdine used to be in the GCC, but now they're WCC.
Well, there's no GCC for men.
There used to be.
There's not anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Again, I think it's basketball because the WCC is a big basketball conference. They're a multi NC2A. We did find out why the women's season got cut shorter. We did. Yeah. Somebody was really nice and emailed in. I don't want to use their name because they didn't say I could use their name, so I'm not going to. But they did. Somebody emailed us and said the women's season was always 2 weeks longer than the men's, so they just shortened it to be the same as the men's. And I said, "Oh, cool."
Title IX.
Yeah, I guess.
In effect, equality.
Yeah.
With the men, bringing it down.
Yeah, it was finally, after a few years, voted and adjusted to be shorter to align with the men's season length and some other reasons. But they sent a nice link to the minutes from the CWPA that decided this.
There we go.
So it's very cool. So yeah, anything else?
You know.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that's it. A lot of exciting movement, a lot of exciting stuff. I think next up we have just more on the men's National League Finals weekend.
Yeah, we do. And you're not going to want to miss this. So this will be a lot of fun as I pour my water.
We're going to pour some water.
Yeah, and get ready. But coming up right now,
about this.
We got a nice interview coming up, a great interview with the star herself of the University of Hawaii, Aggie Weston from New Zealand. One island to the next, but she didn't always live in New Zealand. Where did she live? We're going to find out soon, right after this.
Hey guys, so we at Prep to Play Sports have just launched a new platform for high school athletes to learn directly from the best water polo players around. Seeing how the greatest athletes think and see the game is not something that many of us get to do. So what we're trying to do is make this more accessible to everyone around the country. This month we have sessions from Chase Dodd, Max Irving, and Adrian Weinberg, some of our best players in the Olympic national team. So we'd love for you guys to join our community and let us know what you think.
So you should be recording now. You're clear.
And then I think we're recording now. Okay, great. Cool. All right. Welcome back to the show. Today's guest is one of the most exciting players in college water polo right now. A 6'4", correct me if these stats are wrong, 6'4" utility player from Christchurch, New Zealand. Currently lighting up the pool for the University of Hawaii, Rainbow Wahine. Born in Hong Kong, though. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Raised in New Zealand, but now playing in Paradise. Aggie's journey to college water polo is as compelling as her game is. She earned Big West all freshman honors in her debut season, battled back from a knee injury that cost her an entire year, and has come back in 2026 absolutely on fire, leading her team in goals and earning Big West Player of the Week honors. She's also a member of the New Zealand women's national team, the Whitecaps. Please welcome Aggie Weston to the show. Aggie, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How's your day going?
Really good. Well, it's 8 a.m. here in Hawaii,
Of
but
course.
It's been a good morning so far.
Yeah, you got training coming up today?
Yeah, we've got weights and normal practice. So.
Weights and normal practice. Good,
Yep.
Good on you. Well, to get into some questions on our side, so you were born in Hong Kong, as we mentioned earlier, then moved to Christchurch. You're now playing in college for Hawaii. That's quite a life trajectory. You've probably been asked this many times before, but for our new listeners who aren't as familiar with your story, what was it like growing up as a Kiwi kid in Hong Kong, and how did that shape who you became as a competitor?
Yeah. It was pretty awesome actually. We lived in a little community with just Aussies and Brits, so there was lots of other kids in the same boat, and there's a huge expat community in Hong
Sure.
Kong. So, yeah, but just living so closely with like so many other, especially the Aussies, you build a bit of a competitive spirit because we basically just played sports all day, and yeah, so I think that's definitely where the competitiveness started. But Yeah, Hong Kong was pretty cool. It's not as what many people think it's like. A lot of my friends, when they hear that, are like, "Oh my gosh, like from China," but it's really not like that.
Yeah, you're
It's
not out
pretty
of this like
similar.
really rural area. Hong Kong
Yeah,
is a little bit separate, right?
it's
Right, right.
pretty similar to Hawaii though, with the climate and the it's kind of tropical. So yeah, it was a pretty epic childhood.
Yeah, so there's a big expat community there, as one could guess. But you also had other influences. Your older sister, Eve, plays professionally in Hungary. She's still doing that today?
Yeah, she's still in Hungary. I think she's in her fifth year there now.
Fifth year,
So
wow. So what
yeah.
was it like growing up with her? Was she the one who got you into the pool, or were there some other sibling rivalry involved?
Yeah, she for sure later on, we didn't start playing until we were in Christchurch, but yeah, throughout my whole childhood, she was the trailblazer and I was just signed up for anything she was in or doing well in. So yeah, it started with swimming for sure, and she was a great swimmer. So naturally, I had to swim too, which I'm very thankful for. And then
Yeah.
we played a couple ball sports, which helped with the coordination. And then obviously she was good at them, thanks to her, and so I had to jump in as well. But
Sure, sure.
yeah,
And on that limb, are there aspirations to play professionally following Eve out in Hungary or any other country?
yeah, for sure. I'd love to go and play professionally after the US. Yeah.
Wherever the opportunity might take you, any place in particular you'd have an eye
Um,
on?
I would love to play in a top club in Europe and compete for the Champions League. That would a Champions League trophy. That would be insane. And
That'd be pretty
yeah,
nice. That'd be fun.
yeah. So
That'd be neat.
anywhere in Europe, really.
Yeah, yeah. And still on like your background, your origin story here, which I'm always fascinated about. You've talked before a little bit about surf life saving being very important to your development and for your water polo development as well. For our listeners who don't know, and I don't know either, what exactly is surf life saving, and what did it give you that you feel like the pool couldn't?
Well, it's quite hard to explain, but it's a sport kind of based off lifeguarding. So everyone who competes is a lifeguard, and each race is kind of designed to mimic a rescue situation. So you have like buoys in the water, and the swim race is obviously around them, and first home is the winner. And same with the board race. It's kind of like a long board, but you're on your knees. And then there's a ski race, which is like a ocean kayak kind of that goes a bit quicker, which and so it's I don't know, it's just all these like lifeguards who are just like insanely good at getting working the ocean kind of just yeah, a lot of skill in that. And I think that what that gave me was my work ethic. It's such a hard sport and everything can go wrong so quick. And the people that I practice with, they're like true athletes that just, I don't know, still inspire me. I still follow everything they're doing at home, and they're workhorses. And yeah, to be around them when I was growing up was just, I think, the extra bit I needed with my water polo to just like get across the line with, yeah, just the extra stuff. Because in Christchurch, it's not always just the water polo practice was definitely not going to be enough to get me here. So those other communities I could tap into for some motivation were definitely important.
Yeah, Wes and I are both very familiar with at least junior lifeguarding.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the water polo community did either JGs or our current lifeguards for city or county or whatnot have you. Wes, I've been leading a lot of this first part of the call. Bit of a change of pace, but I want to make sure you get some questions in too if you'd like.
Oh, you're doing a great job, Clay. So appreciate that. Aggie, thank you again for being here. It was great to meet you while you were up at Cal and watch you play. We'll tap a little bit into your career at Hawaii. You are shooting about 64%, which is absurd for a perimeter player. And your regular season is done. You're prepping now for your Big West Championship. Talk to us about what your journey's been like at Hawaii. Coach James Robinson came in, I think last year was his first year, and there's been some turnover, but would love to hear about your journey, what the experience has been like for you there.
Yeah, I've loved it here. Like it truly, we talk about Ohana and it really does feel like a family. But yeah, to be able to put up those numbers, I think it really is just credit to my team and my coaches. I feel really trusted in this program, and yeah, I don't know. I've never really felt like this in a season before. Like I've always been a little bit shy and shied away from the ball and taking those opportunities. But I think just coming back from everything and kind of thinking about my freshman year and how those seniors who I look up to still kind of own that season and put us in the place we were in. And I don't know. I think everything that I do and all my confidence just comes from the program and everyone has like let me kind of try and just step up for those opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, let Aggie be Aggie, if you
Yeah.
will. I love it. You redshirted last year, and so talk to us about what went into that decision, because you don't see somebody as talented as you typically redshirting. What was the thought process there? Was there something we're unaware of, or was it more like just wanting to develop a bit more?
Yeah, I had a knee surgery in
Okay.
just when I got back from summer, which was a long term thing, but it was just getting to the point where it was affecting how I trained and played. And then, but I thought it was just going to be a couple months, and so did James. So it was stressful at the start with that, but we're like, oh, it's fine. I'm going to be back for January, and I started in January in my freshman year, so that wasn't too shocking to miss the fall again, which I did actually want to have a full practice. I thought there was a lot of, obviously, I was going to learn so much from that training chunk. But then it got to about January, and it still just wasn't too flash. And I don't know, we kind of just looked at the bigger picture, and I still was very much involved in that team, and I'm so grateful to my coaches who I traveled for almost every trip last year, and so it wasn't planned to be out for the whole season, but we thought for long run it's probably best option for me and everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it does give you another year of development, and of course another year of opportunity. We like to say, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse, if you will, double-edged sword. You miss a year, but now the team had a chance to develop. You get better, and you're a young team, so if nothing else, you're only 1 year ahead of all these freshmen who have come in. Talk to us about what that's been like, having so many young players and freshmen on the team this year that have contributed in really big ways for you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it just, again, speaks to the program, and no one's more important than another person. And there really isn't a hierarchy or anything. Just like everyone who comes in and proves it is like given that opportunity to shine. And it's been really exciting. I love the freshmen, and I think about when I was a freshman and how much the older girls meant to me and how much I was looking up to them. So yeah, I really enjoy all our newbies, and we have lots of transfers too who are upperclassmen and sophomores, which has also been great, which is a different dynamic that we haven't really seen. Well, I haven't really seen in the last 2 years. So yeah, that's also great. And it's just, it's the ohana we talk about. Everyone finds their spot in the team, and I think we've built to a very nice spot that we're in now, and it's definitely not over, but I think it's gelling really well, and it's exciting.
Yeah. You guys are, I believe, ranked one in the Big West, but you are going to have to win your tournament. There's no at-large for you this year because, unlike other years, you weren't able to knock off Cal in the 3 attempts that you had, or I don't think you played USC. You did play USC, but unable to beat USC. Unfortunately, you didn't have a chance to play Arizona State, which I think everybody would love to have seen that, right? Because there's this larger debate around who's 4, who's 5. Well, we don't know because you guys haven't played each other. So you're going to have to win the Big West. You got 2 weeks to prepare. What do you do personally to bring your best self at the Big West tournament?
Yeah, I think that would have been a great rivalry. Actually, I think about that a lot. But one of the things that I've absolutely loved since being in the US is just like the level of support. And I knew it was going to be good coming over here, but the things they can offer you at athletics here is pretty insane. Like we feel like professionals, and I've really, really taken the opportunity to dive into like sports psychology. So I work with my sports psych, and I think she's also another reason as to why my season has gone how it has. And just making sure to stay consistent and work through those mental skills with her. And like the body's ready, the game plan's there. We've done the work in the pool. That's been the last 6 months. So I think it's just that final 2% that everyone has to bring, and it's that mentality of we're going to win this. So, yeah, I think that's where it's at.
Amazing. It's fascinating to listen to you speak about this. You're so mature about your approach, and it's different these days than certainly when Clayton and I were playing. We didn't have a sports psychologist. We barely had trainers a lot of the time, right? And so it's really interesting and to hear that. What would you say? I mean, sports psychologist is one thing, but like your game is just you elevated in a way that it's really remarkable in the last 2 years. Where do you think you've grown personally?
I think I have come from my mindset has shifted a bit, and especially with the knee injury and water polo at home. Like, I'm just so grateful to be playing, and I think that that's where all the goodness is coming from. Is that the games are so fun, and I love playing with like my sisters here, and I think that the mindset of being grateful and having gratitude is just like, it's so much fun playing, and I love water polo. Like, I'm a weirdo who just like, I love water polo. I watch it so much, and I would hate to know my huddle scores, see how much film I've watched, but so I think just, I don't know, I just love it, and yeah.
Well, you're with people of your own ilk here, as we very much love water polo. So you're not a weirdo in this conversation, but maybe in others. Maybe
we're all weirdos. Nobody's a weirdo.
Yeah, nobody's a weirdo. That's right. What would you say is the best part about being at the University of Hawaii?
I would say it's our fans for sure. It's like crazy how many turn up for us, and we had keiki night our last game on Saturday, and the stands were just like packed, and yeah, they're awesome.
I love that.
And they stay afterwards and they give us lays, and everyone's just, you really do feel like a professional here. And there is no other water polo team for anyone to watch on the island. So yeah, it's them. They make it very different.
Clay, I think there's a business expense in our future of going to Hawaii to watch a women's water polo game. I think we could certainly write it off.
You might have to twist my arm.
Certainly could write it off. Very cool. Clay, any other questions?
I mean, yeah, there's a ton that we can get into, and we don't have a ton of time. I'm curious, like, after that whole year off and getting surgery, which is a scary thing, like, you can have confidence. Like, it's been done a lot of times before, the confidence level of success is pretty high probably. But still, like, you're coming back after that redshirt year, and then you drop a hat trick against San Jose State, and then you have a career-high 4 goals against Cal shortly after that. Like, most players might kind of ease back in after being off for a whole year. Were you nervous at all going into that first tournament, or were you just like ready to go?
Yeah, I was a little nervous. I forgot what all my like little pre-game rituals that I usually do were, and I was like, oh my gosh, this feels really, really foreign. But I got in the water and it just felt normal.
Yeah,
we're back.
Yeah, we talked a few people about like rituals. They call them superstitions, but like, what does it mean for you to get dialed into your game? So you were able to take some of your rituals that you had prior to the redshirt year and just rinse and repeat, and that kind of drops you back into your zone?
Yeah. I use that time that we do the lineups and stuff to have a good little visualization. I kind of play like the entire game from first quarter to the last quarter while we stand there. So if you ever see me zoned out while we're doing the anthems and stuff, that's why. But I don't know, the same playlist in the same order, and the same stretches for the same amount of seconds. So all the weird stuff, just
not superstitious at all.
No.
All right. So from one island to the next, Hong Kong and New Zealand and now Hawaii, you're hitting all the good ones, I think. Yeah. We like to open it up now at kind of the end of the interview and say, look, the studio's yours. Anything you'd like to share? It can be to inspire young women. It can be about your love of water polo. It can be gratitude, as you've called out. But anything in particular you'd like to share?
I feel like I gave it a good crack with your guys' questions.
Yeah, you've done a good job here.
Good crack.
Yeah.
Here's something. Anything that you would tell yourself like prior to making the decision or going into that knee surgery? To other athletes out there, because we're not an impact sport necessarily, but surgeries are fairly common. So what would you tell them?
To just do it. It was one of those things that I could have put off, and I I was just like, we'll worry about that later. But having dealt with it and got through the other side and really just doing my rehab like so perfectly and not skipping any corners. And yeah, that would be a big one as well, just to do the rehab and do what the doctors say and take it slow. But it goes so quick. Like at the start when they were saying 6 months, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is never going to end. But it's crazy how fast it will go. And I think it's also really important to see how that will give, like there's always a spot on the team for everyone if it's a true team. And I think with the surgery, I really saw how much of an impact I could be on the bench and supporting. So yeah, I think that was also awesome and helped with the gratitude and yeah, just seeing it from a different lens. And yeah.
Great.
That's awesome. Well, Aggie, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you again. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck in the Big West Championship. We hope to see you making an appearance. I think the world needs to see what you bring. For anybody who's not seen this woman play, it is fantastic to watch Aggie Weston play. So thank you again for being here, and good luck the next couple of weeks.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. All right, don't go anywhere. We got to make sure you get uploaded.
Lovely interview.
She was
Per
great.
usual.
You did a great job.
You hear that? You did great.
Yeah, I unfortunately was in a car
Yes.
picking up my daughter
That's
for
the
preschool.
great things we can do about being async here on the podcast. If you guys couldn't tell, we don't always do every segment in a row. We just patch it together like Frankenstein that it is, but it's still beautiful in its own way, just like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But great insights and great story and an encouraging one for a lot of athletes that have to face things like surgeries in their career, and encouragement to just do it, get it done with, so that you can enjoy as much as you can going forward. On the men's side of things, have we mentioned that the Men's National League Finals weekend is May 1st through 3rd? First weekend of May. It's a Friday through Sunday. The round of 16 and the quarterfinals are on Friday, May 1st. Semifinal, Saturday, May 2nd, with the final being on Sunday, May 3rd. Quarterfinals and semis likely at Servite High School. Finals likely at Willett Aquatic Center. We're very excited for all of these games. The actual schedule is not out yet, but it is taking shape.
It is taking shape, and we're going to share with you just a hypothetical schedule. This is not finalized. I want to be very clear. Once again, this is not finalized, but it is taking shape. And what we mean by that is we know some things now. We actually know some things. And what do we know? Boom. All right. We know that LA Athletic Club and Mission are in the top 3 for sure because they've won their conference. We know that Nyack and Fight On will be somewhere in 4, 5, and 6. Okay. What we don't know is O Club and Cal, and frankly, Newport Cardinal. So O Club has to play Cal and Newport Cardinal in the next weekend. Newport Cardinal did lose to Cal. We're going to assume, for lack of just because we don't know, but if O Club beats Cal, it looks like this. Maybe. Again, maybe. LA being 1, CIU being 16. USA Youth and Long Beach, this is set because Long Beach did beat USA Youth in regular season, so they will be seated above USA Youth. Fight On and Sunset, Anteater and Nyack, Mission and USAB, NL Lions and Cal, again, assuming Cal loses to O Club, and Newport Cardinal taking on Riptide, South County and O Club. If Cal beats O Club likely slides to 4, and this is what it looks like. We do have a Fight On versus Nyack matchup in weekend 4, so that will be very interesting to see. But this is what it looks like then. You've got Nyack, Sunset, Anteater, O Club, so you would have LA, Nyack, and O Club all on the same side, that is a brutal path for anyone. Mission, Fight On, Newport Cardinal and Cal. And so you'd have Mission fight on Newport Cardinal and Cal. Newport Cardinal, by the way, is like Stanford light, all on one side, a brutal run. No matter how you slice it, the quarterfinals on Friday night are going to be, as the kids say, lit. So I'm going to put this one back. Okay, I'm going to put these back so you guys can see. This is where things stand right now. Again, so we can see where things stand right now is here. And you would have O Club and Newport Cardinal, which is a good semifinal. Cal and Mission, amazing, right? Nyack and Fight On, great. And then LA and probably either Long Beach or USA, I should say. I don't know. But that tells you, right, the one seed, no matter who it is, the one seed will have an easier Friday for sure. Rosters for teams are not due for finals until really the week of. So we won't know who everybody has until that point. They may ask for them a little bit earlier. But this gives you an idea of how this is going to shake out. Remember, on Friday, there will be these round of 16 games here and the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals being Friday night. There will be 4 pools, is my understanding. 1 game, 1 quarterfinal at each pool, all playing at the same time.
Love it.
Which means the semifinals, everybody will be on equal rest.
Yep.
That is very important. Ask anybody who's played.
Semifinals going to be at 2 separate pools at the same time?
No, semifinals unfortunately will be at the same pool. They will be at Servite, which there will be food there.
There's two games back to back. Food, beer, wine, seltzer.
There'll be merchandise from USA Water Polo. It's going to be decorated. There's going to be all kinds. I think there's going to be music. There might be I know there'll be a DJ. There may be a band. There's going to be halftime interviews with coaches on the deck. There's going to be player interviews after the game, player MVPs, game MVPs for each semifinal, more than likely. There's a lot of great stuff that we're looking at for those semifinals. And I will applaud Tom Davis and USA Water Polo because they're stepping up this year. Last year, not so much. This year, so much. And they're really trying to push this and make this a real event, if you will. And so we're excited about that. We're excited about it being at Servite. And there's a lot of good things coming from this. So we're excited for all of this. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. Let us know. We want to be helpful. We like to be helpful. It's important to us that people are aware of this. Bring a friend out. It's going to be a ton of fun. Good music. I think they're even going to have some sort of, I don't know if it's there's going to be cornhole game. There's going to be some other games for the kids potentially to do. And again, lots of food, barbecue, and they'll have some beer. They'll have some seltzer for you guys to purchase. So it should be a lot of fun. There's even going to be cocktail, like high tables to people to stand at, drink, and watch the games while they're eating their food. So they don't have to eat in the stands. So we're trying to think of everything. We're open to any and all suggestions. If you have suggestions, please send them our way. So that's the plug for that. Now, Clayton, do you want to introduce this next segment?
Sure.
Yeah.
The next segment is about data.
Yeah.
We have we've talked a lot about data, Wes. We talked about numbers and figures and how it can tell a story, and frankly, about our desire for our sport to have more professionalism to it. It's something that's greatly lacking that you'll find in every professional sport, every other collegiate NC2A sport.
That's right.
Are statistics.
Yeah.
Statistics are very fun. They help tell a story, not just for coaches on how they can better implement their tactics and personnel, but it tells the story to fans. When someone steps up to a free throw line, what's their free throw percentage? It changes the type of drama and experience that we have when watching a game. What if, the matchup percentages, or there's all kinds of different things we can talk about, but we don't have very many for water polo. And that is often by choice for these programs.
That's
because no one is effectively forced to maintain or at least publicly share their statistics. So what have we done? Well, we know 6-8 is doing a lot of stat keeping, which has been great for our sport, just to have that be more publicly accessible, to have there be more statistics. But we want it to be even more granular. And so we went out and did it. And not only did we take more granular stats for we're talking about LA Athletic Club specifically.
Yeah.
We took more granular stats of our own teams and players' effectiveness across an array of categories. But we'd love to share them with you and make them public, because we are wanting to give a gesture for how we would like other teams to reciprocate that and how this might come together in a bigger way someday. So Wes, I'll let you take it from there.
We really want to lead from the front. And what we mean by that is if nobody's going to do it, why not us? And so a lot of gratitude to Bluebird Data for helping us. And of course, Breck Wahine, who has been statting all of the LA Athletic Club games. Now, I don't think these statistics are going to shock any coaches because I believe they have all this already. But I think it's important that the general public see this. We will share this data publicly, and you can have access to it and see it yourself in the next couple of weeks once I figure out how to put it into our website on laathleticclub.com, lacwaterpolo.com. So here we go. We have taken every player we have. We've done everything from goals, missed shots, turnovers, assists, major fouls drawn, fouls against, goals on man up, steals, shot blocks, based on which weekend they're playing, and percentage of goals. We get all the way to the point of something we've defined as called a usage rate, meaning if somebody shoots the ball and the possession ends because of that person, be it a turnover, a goal, or a missed shot, okay, how often is that occurring based on total number of possessions? We have a usage rate percentage, which takes usage rate, turns it into percentage. You can see here, Filip Filipovic, 12.88% of the time, the possession ends with him. Ryder Dodd in 1 weekend to play, 20% of the time. That gives you an idea of who's playing well and where the ball is ending, so who's taking that shot in a way. We also have this idea of goals created. Goals created is a very interesting thing. We allocate for assists and, of course, turnovers and potentially exclusions drawn. I can't tell you exactly what's in there off the top of my head because I'm not looking at the definition. We have a usage efficiency. So how often is the ball ending with them and how many goals are they effectively contributing or creating? We have an offensive efficiency stat and stocks, which are blocks and steals. And you can see here, Mitch Keatley has 21 blocks and steals, and he's crushing it. Hoerman with 22. We do everything in terms from a weekend standpoint. We're not yet tracking how much each player is actually playing. That's a little more difficult. But we did take this and put it through an algorithm to say that Bluebird Data really helped us with, to say, okay, what is each player's actual value here? I also put this through Claude, and it gave me a water polo performance score that it derived. We like to look at other sports. That's where you get stocks. That's where you get usage rate formulas and so on and so forth in our attempt to figure out what's our best lineup. Who's contributing the most? Who's contributing in the least? Who needs to turn the ball over less, which is fairly easy, but if they're not just turning it over, is that coming with something? So if you look at this, Bryce Hoerman is a 13. He's 17 goals on 34 shots or something. Yeah, 34 shots. He has 11 assists, 16 steals, 6 blocks, no turnovers, giving him a 13. He is the highest performing player on the left side of the pool because he plays the 1-2. Chase Dodd, for example, 14 of 28. He's got 12 assists. He's got 10 exclusions drawn, 5 against him, 4 steals, 13 steals, 4 turnovers, and 9 blocks, giving him a 16.7. We then modified this algorithm to better adjust for centers because it wasn't fair that centers were being graded on goals and assists because we don't ask our centers to create goal or necessarily score goals or do assists. We ask them to draw exclusions because we believe in our exclusion opportunities being a better opportunity than maybe a center scoring. Though I love center scoring because it is very efficient. It's hard to do that at times. Not every center is set up to do so. So we went through, and this is just the beginning of all of this, to be able to look at this and say, how is each player performing? It's really fascinating to us what we're able to find out. The last thing I'll show you is with Claude, it did give us a water polo performance ranking, and you can see Ryder Dodd and Kiefer Black were the top 2 performers. Now, they've only played in 1 weekend apiece, so that's pretty interesting. Philip has only played in 1 weekend as well. Turns out the longer you play, the lower your performance gets, as you're going to miss a few shots, you're going to turn the ball over, so on and so forth. But it does give us a pretty good idea of how well players are playing and whatever else. This isn't necessarily, we don't look at centers and goalies in this, so you can see like Mahmoud, Oliver, Clay. These are all centers.
Clay, nice down low at
all the way down here, Clay. But that's because he's a center, and we're not grading them the same way. We can see who our best man-up scorer is, Shamu Biarosh. We don't have a problem sharing this. We don't have any issues with this. Does it put a little bit of target on Shamu's back when he's in there on 6-on-5? Sure. Good. It's a good challenge for him. Let him adjust. So by all means, have at it. So it's very, very interesting to be able to look at this stuff. And it's not things that are readily available for us in today's game. Again, we track a ton of things in this. And, there's some things are percentages we're not going to show you. But to that point, we're going to make this available to publicly on LAathleticClub.LAACwaterpolo.com when we get around to building out that page on the website. And once I can figure out how to code it correctly, Claude should be able to do most of that. So props to Anthropic and Claude. If you haven't used that before, highly recommended. But we do really believe in statistics and being able to identify anomalies as well as kind of performance ratings and scores. It has helped us a lot this year. It is a labor of love for sure. Because what we have found is we need to stat these ourselves. Our definition of an assist, for example, may be different than 6'8". Our definition of a turnover and who it's assigned to may be different than 6'8". But at least we know that we're being consistent with how we assign a turnover and how we assign an assist, and making sure we capture everything. So if anybody would like access to the data, please let us know. We're happy to share that with you. Again, it's not a secret. It should be public. I mean, you look up any sport and you can see how many yards somebody has, how many makes 3-point percentage. Great. Like a 3-point percentage shooter shooting at 55%. Everybody knows that Steph Curry lights it up from the three, right? Great. Stop it. We know that Shamu Birosh is the highest scoring player in goals on Man Up. Okay, good. Game plan. That is what we want. Now, not everybody's doing this. So we're kind of, again, we're putting ourselves out there. I don't really have a problem with that. The players might get some phone calls from our players, but the 10 viewers that we have here, there might be something there. You're on mute, Clay.
Yeah. So hope you guys find all that interesting. And Wes, do we know where we'll be sharing that?
I'll be putting it on LAACwaterpolo.com.
Okay.
Once I get to a place where I'm comfortable with the data and I can code it correctly. I'm going to have to get some coding. It's not going to be hard. I just have to work with Claude to get the coding done.
Yep. Cool. Well, again, any other programs out there and we're happy to share like a template, I'm sure, of this if you want to use that to
absolutely
your own team's information, have it churn it out for you. Could be very interesting.
Yeah. And when the season is done, we will publish everything so you can see everything we were tracking and all that. So what's hard is that the team changes so often, right? You add Ryder for one weekend and sometimes the Fordham guys are here. Androsh was only here one weekend. Right. That's where the inconsistency makes it a little bit like, I don't know how you game plan because you don't know who's going to be here and whatever else. It's like, all right,
keep you guessing.
Well, it keeps us guessing for sure.
It does.
We will be announcing our finals roster right after, let's see.
Well, we've been getting right into finals because that's what we want to build the hype towards. That's is a weekend 4 still coming up in about 3 weekends. Then there's a 2-week gap between then and National League finals. There will be a game of the week, LAC versus New York Athletic Club. That's Saturday. I think it's April. Oh, gosh. Where are you? Is this right? Yes, April 18th. So National League Weekend 4 is the weekend of the 17th to the 19th. SoCal game of the weekend for the Open Division, Open Conference is New York Athletic Club versus LA. And that it will be the second weekend of NorCal games playing. We're talking about Oak Club facing against Cal, Oak Club facing against Newport Cardinal. So that'll be very interesting. And after that weekend, we will have our final seeding for the finals.
Yeah. Again, the SoCal stuff is pretty much done. Who's 4, 5, and 6? We know 2 of those teams now. Where they fall, we won't know because Nyack is taking on Fight On that weekend and LA Athletic Club. Though that LA Athletic Club game, it'll mean something from a pride standpoint, but it's not going to impact. LA will be a top 3 team. Nyack will be 4 to 6 because of the conference records. And then but the Nyack Fight On game will matter because both those teams are second in their division. And so who's 4, who's 5, who's 6, we'll have to wait and see. That Cal team looks good, though. I will tell you. I think whoever wins Whoever loses that game between Cal and O Club, I think will probably be the 4 because they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Cal team is very good. We know O Club is good. O Club was in the finals last year. And so you're going to have some combination of LA, Mission, and then either Cal, O Club. And then whoever loses that game, I think is going to be the 4. And I think that I don't know if it's Nyack at 5 or if it's Fight On at 5. That'll be decided after weekend 4. But either way, I mean, you're either getting O Club in your quarter or you're getting like a Mission or a Cal in your quarter.
Yeah.
That's the quarterfinal Friday night games are going to be fun.
Yeah. This is where it's really set apart from the men's college season for sure, because
far more depth.
It is there. Not only is it broad, but it's still competitive at every single match at the quarterfinals. So very fun.
Yeah. This isn't like, I think UCLA has played Princeton the last 2 semifinals that they've had. And USC has played Fordham, and that's good, but or maybe UCLA played that was their quarterfinal, and then they played Stanford, but they handled Stanford both years. Like there wasn't as much parity there. And like USC handled Fordham this last year. Like that's a semifinal. There's just not as much depth. It was very clear that USC, UCLA were the best teams, and they showed it in the semifinals both years. Now the finals were very competitive. I thought those were great. And it's not to take anything away from Stanford or Fordham. They just weren't on the same level, which was the results. The results showed that. This, however, I don't know. I don't think anybody could tell you, well, Mission will for sure beat Fight On, or Fight On will, or Nyack will for sure beat Fight On, or Fight On will for sure beat Cal. I just don't know that that's the case, which is what makes this so exciting. Uncertainty builds fandom. So the quarterfinal games are going to be amazing. It sets up for an even better semifinal because you got 4 teams on adequate and equal rest, all at Servite. I can't emphasize enough. If we want this sport to grow, if we want this sport to survive, we have to push into this league to ensure that it grows and it's supported. So 400, 500, 600 people. Our goal is 500 people at the semifinals.
Yep.
So Saturday night game. But we'll keep pushing that. Have a great Easter, everyone. For those of you who celebrate, and if you don't, I believe Passover is starting here pretty soon. And if you don't celebrate either of those, have a great week anyways.
Amen.
So, all right, everybody. We have another interview.
I think we might.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back, everyone. We are joined now by Olympian bronze medalist Dylan Woodhead. Your first time on the show, man. Thank you for being here.
It's epic to be here. Thanks for having me. Just want to acknowledge you and all you guys do for the water polo community, and super happy and grateful to be able to contribute to that. So let's go.
I appreciate that. You're starting with a little gratitude. We like to do that as well. So it's great to have you here. We're always excited to welcome you to the show. You've had an unbelievable run in your life here. You won a bronze medal. You continue to play pro. You're on a little bit of a gap year now. Let's go back a couple of years, dude. What was that like to win a bronze medal for you?
Yeah. I think you could ask like all the guys on that team, and there's like a pause and just like an appreciation. I think, I grew up in a family with, siblings that we all played sports. My mom was a swimmer, and we grew up watching the Olympics. And I remember watching like the 08 games at my grandma's house and watching Phelps win all those medals, and having the ability to like grow and play with your family and your community and the teams and the teammates that we went through, and then be able to work your way and to achieve something along those lines and that level was really special, and something I'll remember forever. So just an epic experience.
Everybody seems to have a little bit different take on the experience itself. Even I was sitting with Danish Varga and Dayon, and Dayon was grateful to Danish for missing those 5 meters. Everybody has a different memory that comes up. And so it's always interesting to like hear that. You're home now. You've already got your master's from Stanford. You got 2 degrees from Stanford. Some is good, more is better. You're playing a little bit of National League. You're working. Talk to us about what life is like for you now, as you've been home. You've been home like 6, 8, 9 months now. 9 months about. since you finished last season, right?
Finished up last season and last summer. Have been in the Bay and have been seeking out every water polo opportunity I can get. And I think we're alike in that we want more in domestic water polo, and we're trying to give everything we can to help build it.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm very fortunate to be getting married this summer, and I've been gone from home for 5 years, so I've been able to spend a lot of time with my friends and family that I've missed. I went to my sister's birthday party yesterday for the first time in 6 years, so soaking up that experience and just being really grateful for that. But it's been new, not being able to have like a team to lean on in your day to day, and compared to what I was, the Olympic Club is who I'm representing in National League, and it's been a part of my family for my whole life, basically. And just like being able to work out with those guys and train and compete is amazing. If I didn't have that, I think I'd go absolutely crazy. I don't know if I could do this, but my day to day is that I'm like working right now for a cool company and learning a lot, and able to use these facilities. And the one thing I want to talk to you about was I saw you and the Dodds do this bay swim a couple weeks ago, which is something
did,
I'd love to
Golden Gate to Alcatraz.
Tell me about that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
You do that a lot?
What's that? Yeah, I do it almost every week. Not always Golden Gate to Alcatraz, but so, depending on the current, sometimes Bay Bridge to Alcatraz or Alcatraz into the city. I do it every week might be overstating it. It's probably 1.5 to 2 times a month, I should say.
And it's like, for those viewers out there, it's cold right now. The water's like 56 degrees, and my family, like, we swim in aquatic park and have done a bunch of bay swims. So I saw that and I was jealous because that looked super fun. But I get to go down there and do that every couple of days too, which has been a treat as well. But my day to day is a lot different. I'm definitely seeking out those water polo opportunities. I'm missing the relationships I had with my teammates on a day to day basis, but I'm looking forward to having those back hopefully very soon.
Yeah, so it sounds like you want to make another run at 2028 in LA, sort of local, more local than Paris. What's the plan for you here? I know you're getting married here this summer. Congratulations. It's exciting. And from what you've told me, right, you've been together a long time, but you've been gone a long time. What is your plan for the next, I guess it's 2026, dude. You got basically 24 months, 27 months to really put this into gear, right?
For sure. And like the team right now is off preparing and training for this World Cup qualifiers in Montenegro, and like wish more than anything to be there. And I know for me, like the next 24 months is not something I've been able to plan out. It's a time in my life where, you used to live in 4-year groups. You had high school and you had college and then you had your Olympic cycles. And I would love the opportunity to make an effort to make that team and support, Team USA. And I'm going to do everything I can to be ready to have that chance. And that's kind of my focus right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So potentially playing pro again here, maybe in the next 6-12 months or something to that degree.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever been to Vouliagmeni, Greece, where I played for 3 years?
I've not been to Vouliagmeni. No.
Heaven on earth. And I know, there's a lot of domestic players like Adrian Weinberg's playing for Panathinaikos. And when we were over there together, we'd, get together every weekend or so and have a barbecue. And that place where I played is just like a joy to play water polo and be a water polo player at. So it wouldn't be that hard to twist my arm to go back. But, I'm really grateful for those years too. And and take this time maybe to plug all the professional players that are grinding overseas. Like, super awesome to be able to follow them and watch them. And I know Overnight's got a lot more games now, so if you guys have an Overnight subscription, don't be afraid to throw on a Max Irving game or an Adrian Weinberg. There's Hannes. I think Hannes and Adrian actually play this Saturday in the Greek League, so that's a really fun way to stay connected to the athletes as well.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. I mean, having the games on Overnight is really a benefit. So, a lot of credit to them for making that partnership happen. It's a unique opportunity. Certainly, Dylan, you and I didn't have it. I definitely didn't have it. We didn't have streaming or the internet. But this is a very different world today, and it is great that we have that opportunity to watch. Panathinaikos just lost, I think, in Euro Cup
last second. Yeah, I was talking to Adrian about it. today actually, but they have a great team, and I think they'll be competing for the Greek championship, which has been dominated by Olympiacos for many years now.
Yeah. So really exciting opportunity there. Would you go back to Greece, or you think you go somewhere else?
It would be hard to not go back to Greece for me.
Yeah.
I love
Would
that.
you take your wife with you?
I hope so, but yeah, it's not my decision; it's our decision. And
That's
and
right.
yeah,
Yeah, good. You're gonna do good. This is gonna be good. You're already ready. You're already ready. That's wonderful. Your sister Ella Woodhead, the who I refer to as the most famous Woodhead, playing two
absolutely.
ways at Stanford. Has it been cool to get a chance to watch her live? I saw you at the game. I think 2 weeks ago when they unfortunately lost to USC. They got a big game this weekend against Cal. I assume you'll be there for that.
Oh, yeah.
What's it like for you to watch your younger sister, who is really dominant, like
Yeah.
really good, man?
Dominant. I just got chills thinking about it. Like I hadn't seen her play in person in a college water polo game until last weekend, and just like
Oh, so it's your fault they lost, by the way. That's
for sure. Well, yeah, nothing to do nothing to do with like what I was trying to contribute, but I was like just so proud to see her development and how hard she works, and like just very rare. Like any friend or family member of an athlete, you get like kind of the behind the scenes look of that person's growth, and it just makes me all the more proud to see her dominate and succeed like she is. And I was going to say, watching her get a bad call called on her is worse than like watching anybody else, and I'll like go to my grave defending what she's doing. Is like there's no way that's not offensive or whatever, but she's got a couple of big games coming up. Stanford does too, and it's just super fun to watch and be a part of the energy.
Yeah, big splash this weekend, April 4th. That'll be a good game. Cal looking to try and get a win versus a top 3. Stanford trying to come back from a tough loss to USC. Stanford only playing 12 games this year. Any idea why that would be?
Only 4 home games. Like
I know.
That's really tough.
It bums me out because I love calling these women's games.
Yeah, I mean, it's super fun. I don't know why they changed the schedule. I know it makes each game more important. So that's been fun. Like there's a lot of intensity, but I would love to see, when my first year in Greece, I played 67 games. It was like an NBA season. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I counted. It was the year where we had, like my team somehow, it was like a, I don't know, miracle on ice or Cinderella. We made the Final Four as a team that's basically like a AAA playing in the World Series. But we had that, and then like a bunch of international games, and it was so great for me and my development and a lot of my teammates. I had Matt Farmer there with me. So I think getting a lot of opportunities to play those games and feel that pressure and get practice doing that is amazing. So I would love to see, Ella play 100 games this year if she can.
Yeah, certainly more games does add to sharpening your sword, right? Your ability to attack and play the game. Let me ask you this: what was your favorite memory of playing in Greece? And then we're going to talk about National League.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm going to share a couple because I can't put one down. Like playing in Champions League final in the semifinal against Pro Recco and having to go against, the guy I guarded all of my college career, Ben Halleck. Like that was fun and not fun because there's a play in that game that will haunt me forever. But Ben just dunked on me.
We're trying to do positive memories here. Positive memories.
I know. That competition though was like really cool because it's the peak of club water polo. There was a ton of pressure, and what really stood out for me about that year was like my team, and it was a perfect example of like the group is greater than the sum of its parts. Like we had just an amazing coach, and all our guys were similar ages, and we all just bought in and played really unselfishly. And I think I learned a lot about how to build like a culture from that experience. And then we just kind of built on that for 3 more years. And getting out of my comfort zone somewhere new is something I'll seek out for the rest of my life because of that too. So that was fun.
Yeah, complacency, they say, is the enemy of progress.
There you go.
So, yeah. When you're comfortable, you get complacent. You get complacent, you don't progress. You don't achieve. And so I hear that. Now you're playing in National League. We're excited to see you. Northern California, only 2 weekends of games, only 6 games for you guys. You're 3-0 right now. You got a test against Cal coming up here in about 3 weeks.
Cal and Stanford. Yeah.
Cal and that's right. You did play Cal and Stanford in that final weekend. Talk to us about what that's been like for you. How do you feel the competition is? What do you like? Obviously, do you want more games? Is 6 enough?
Yeah.
Like, talk to us about your thoughts here.
No, totally. And like, just acknowledging how far National League has come. Like, I think last year there was 12 teams, and we were traveling quite a bit for each weekend, having to come down south, and there's 40 teams now. Like, the number of games is just exponentially bigger than last year. So there's a lot of like the growth we've made is incredible, and I think the product National League is putting out is amazing. Do I personally want more games? Yes. Like, our team is, we traveled to Texas earlier this year for a tournament. We traveled to Arizona this past weekend and played Nyack a couple times. Like, we would love to max out our games because, these are all guys that are out of college that, if the U.S. had a built-out league, would love to practice more and love to play more. So we're definitely seeking that out. And, we got our eyes on this next weekend. We think these games are going to be a real kind of litmus test for where we're going to be at for the final. And we're ready to rock for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. You do have Ben Halleck listed on your roster, but we haven't seen him yet. So little secret.
Secret
see if he's ready, repaired and recovered. Talk to us about like your vision post, assuming you play in 2028. What do you want to do with your life? When you grow up, what do you want to be?
What an easy question. No, I really don't know. What I do know is like, and I hear you talk about it a lot, like how tough water polo is. And we were talking about it earlier today. Just like the amount of different parts of the game that you have to train hard and put in a lot of hours. And the one thing I've learned from like taking a step back is like, how that difficulty, I think, fosters a lot of special things that, I want to seek out in life. I want to seek out those relationships that I build when I have to play a hard sport with someone next to me, or, I want to be able to set goals and achieve them and challenge myself, whether that's, physically in the pool or preparing for a game and trying to understand tactics or building programs. I really think sport is an incredible vessel for that kind of learning and way of life. And I think, there's a lot of things I'd love to do in this life and contribute. And I guess short answer, I don't know, but takeaways are that I think sport is a really cool way to have a lot of amazing life experiences.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly playing water polo. I think we talked about it yesterday when we were chatting. Or maybe it was today. I'm not even sure when we spoke last, but how you can be a great athlete, but somebody can outperform you because of their fitness. Mm-hmm. Then you can be a great athlete and be in great shape, but then somebody will be in even better shape. They'll take that extra stroke. They'll have an extra kick, whatever it is. And it's such a thin margin of error of just being faster, just being stronger or more cardio ready. And water polo being one of those sports, or frankly, the only sport where you have to be endurance oriented and sprint oriented. You can't, if you're too much endurance, there's no up and down. If you're too much sprint, you can't get up and down. It's like, what are you going to do? It's such an amazing, for me, it's just the most amazing thing. And, I hope you stick with the swimming at least, or some kind of water polo for a very, very long time, man. So appreciate you taking the time, buddy. It's again, great to see you. What I'll leave it up to you. We like to say the studio is yours. Anything you'd like to, any wisdom you'd like to impart on the viewers here?
Yeah. Wisdom. Come out to National League finals. You'll learn something. No, really, I think taking something away from the European system is like they have like their club programs run through 6-year-old kids all the way to the open team. And they have this advantage, of watching older people and older players play. And, a 14-year-old will go play with the 17 and under sometimes, or, the 17-year-old, like on my last year, played on my, open team. And the ability to practice and play against guys that are bigger, stronger, and how you like have to develop your game in different ways. It's really amazing way to accelerate your learning. And I do think, the more you can get out and watch different types of water polo and watch, high level water polo, I think you can really learn and enjoy. And I think, the team at National League and USA Water Polo has put together a fun weekend for us. So I hope we can kind of use it to celebrate all of that which we sacrificed for the sport and get
Sure.
to enjoy. So,
All right. So one reason everybody should come out to National League Finals. Give us one reason why should everybody come out.
I heard that on your last different barbecue sauces, but one reason I think the Dodd brothers, Dodd brothers are pretty good. They get a lot of press and very notably so. They're pretty incredible people. I remember rooming with Chase my first trip. He was on the team and I looked over and he's in the bed and his shoulders the most flexible position I've ever seen. He's just reading something on his phone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? How is that comfortable? And then that tournament, he scored 7 near side goals, releasing the ball on this side of his head.
Yeah.
That's, they're just incredible players to watch. And there's a lot of them in National League. So there's my
very cool.
brothers, but yeah.
You heard it from an Olympian. Come watch National League Finals, everybody. Servite High School semifinals, William Willett Aquatic Center finals. Should be a lot of good matchups. But Dylan, thank you for taking the time to be here, man. Good luck the rest of the way in a couple of 3 weeks. We're 3 weeks. We're at 2. I think we're 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks from National League weekend 4.
Oh, yeah.
Get tropical, man. Get in the gym. Thanks for being here, dude. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.